Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely demystify the insanely frustrating, overwhelming process of finding the right lawyer in Canada. If you've ever stared blankly at a complex, generic lawyer directory, wondering how on earth you're supposed to make a choice that could seriously impact your life, you are in the exact right place.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap. We'll be covering the lawyer's search trap, why two numbers change everything, when proximity really matters, decoding the match percentage, a comparison of real estate versus tax audits, and finally, finding your perfect lawyer.
All right, Section 1, the lawyer's search trap, and why the whole thing just feels totally broken.
Let's be honest, we're starting with a feeling most Canadians know all too well. Ever find yourself stuck in that endless loop of Google searches, skimming through law firm websites that honestly all sound exactly the same? It's like comparing apples to oranges, right? Well, you're definitely not alone here. It's a massive, systemic roadblock.
Get this, the Canadian Bar Association actually flagged that a huge chunk of people with serious legal issues never even get to a lawyer. Why? Because of the quote-unquote friction during the discovery stage. Basically, just trying to find professional help is so overwhelmingly difficult that people literally just give up. We absolutely have to eliminate that friction.
Which brings us to Section 2. Two numbers change everything, also known as the Olanur solution.
To cut through that friction right when most people throw their hands up in defeat, we need a brand new framework. And Olanur completely strips away the noise. Instead of burying you in endless confusing bios, you get just two data points before you even click: a match percentage and an approximate distance. That's the whole shebang. Putting these two variables front and center completely changes your search from a chaotic guessing game into a clear, strategic decision.
Moving to Section 3, when proximity really matters and what we call the virtual myth.
So let's unpack that first number, distance. A lot of folks assume all legal work has gone totally virtual now, right? Sure, we have Zoom, but the actual legal system is deeply provincial. In fact, a single Canadian lawyer is kind of a myth. Canada has 11 completely separate sets of professional and provincial rules. Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, they all have their own courts and registries. So physical proximity? It can absolutely be a make-or-break factor.
Just look at how wildly the need for a local lawyer varies based on your specific issue. Real estate closings are way up at a 9 out of 10 for proximity because they tie into local land titles and often need in-person signing. Family law in court is an 8, but down at a 2? Federal tax and CRA disputes. Oh, and don't forget the hidden costs. If your lawyer has to drive 90 minutes to a courthouse for a family law motion, you might literally be paying their hourly rate while they just sit in traffic. Yikes.
Okay, Section 4, decoding the match percentage going beyond the algorithm.
So what about that other number, the match percentage? Well, it's definitely not a random guess. It's a carefully weighted score evaluating how perfectly a lawyer's practice aligns with your unique emergency. Notice the breakdown here. 35% goes to the overarching legal category, but then another 25% zooms right into your specific sub-issue. Because family law is broad, but a high-conflict parenting dispute is highly specific. It even folds in jurisdiction, your timeline, budget, and language preferences.
Now, I want to be crystal clear about something. A 92% match does not mean you have a 92% guarantee to win your case. Legal outcomes depend on facts and the law, not an algorithm. This score is simply a confidence metric on practical, real-world fit. It gets you to the right starting line, but remember, it never replaces your own judgment and having a real conversation.
Let's put this into practice in Section 5. Real estate versus tax audits, the case studies.
All right, this matrix right here is your cheat sheet. The extremes are super easy. High match, close by, book 'em. Low match, far away, easy pass. But the tricky part, where you really earn your strategic advantage, is in those gray areas in the middle. Do you take the highly matched lawyer far away or the adequately matched lawyer right down the street? Let's look at a real Canadian scenario with Reza. He needs a townhouse closing fast, like in 18 days. On Olanur, he sees two options. Option A is an 84% match right in his backyard in Mississauga, just 6 kilometers away. Option B is a higher 91% match, but they're located 47 kilometers away in downtown Toronto. So, does Reza chase the slightly better match or stick to his backyard?
The verdict? The closer lawyer wins, hands down. Because the clock is ticking, local registry rules are strict, and physical in-person document signing is going to be mandatory. A 7% boost in a match score is absolutely not worth battling 47 kilometers of Toronto traffic on an 18-day deadline. Proximity takes the cake here.
But now, let's flip the script. Meet Marie-Claude in Montreal. She's staring down a massive federal CRA tax audit. She gets an okay 79% match from a lawyer just 20 minutes away in Laval. But then, she spots a huge 96% match from a former CRA prosecutor who lives halfway across the country in Calgary. What's the play here?
In this case, the farther lawyer totally wins. Why? Because tax audits are federal, paper-based, and remote. Distance is basically irrelevant. So, that massive 17-point match advantage dictates the entire decision. A Calgary lawyer can easily handle a Montreal resident's federal tax audit without anyone ever leaving their desk.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, Finding Your Perfect Lawyer, the Action Plan.
Let's tie all of this into a toolkit you can use literally right now. Rule 1, if you have in-person needs like real estate or family court, weight the distance. Rule 2, if it's a remote or federal issue, weight the match. Rule 3, if your top matches are within 5% of each other, use distance as your tiebreaker. And Rule 4, if the match scores are more than 10 points apart, always go with the higher match unless the distance is genuinely impossible.
So, are you ready to stop guessing and start matching? Now that you know exactly how to cut through that directory chaos, it's time to stop letting overwhelming lists paralyze you. Head over to Olanur.com to put this framework into action and get matched with the right lawyer today. Because honestly, finding a lawyer shouldn't require a law degree. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and best of luck with your search.